The 2018 blockbuster hit Black Panther gave us an inside look at another Marvel character, T'Challa. We learned about mysterious Wakandan technology infused with Vibranium, and Story creates for T'Challa a unique necklace that looks super cool and provides a covert hiding place for his Vibranium suit. This necklace is a must-have for any Black Panther cosplay, so I'm going to show you how you can make this awesome Black Panther accessory. Vibranium suit sold separately. Hey there folks! As with all my builds, I'm trying to make this one as simple and easy to follow as possible. The tools and materials you'll be needing are fairly common. You should be able to find them either through Amazon or at your local hardware and craft stores, and it won't be very hard for you to put these together. The things we'll be using are a hot glue gun with glue sticks, of course, some metallic tape. You can find this at Home Depot or Lowe's. Paracord can be found at your craft store. It's very inexpensive. Air dry clay, fake fingernails. Specifically, I'm going to be using sizes 9 and 1. First thing we're going to do is we're going to glue the smaller size 9 onto the larger size 1. Just takes a small drop of that hot glue there on the tip of the nail, and just placing the smaller nail on. You don't want to have a whole lot of overlap. It should look as natural as possible. So you'll be just straightening it, making sure that it's centered on the nail and doesn't look like it's askew in any way. You're probably wondering why I'm putting these two together. The nails that I ordered from Amazon were not long enough, I felt, for an adult size necklace. So I combined the two to make it long enough to look appropriate. Also, why am I using fake nails? Well, they already had a curve to them. This particular set is pointed, so it seemed to work. I put together about 19 of the claws for my necklace. Why an odd number? So that you have a specific center point that you can build from later on. Now that the claws are assembled, we're going to use just a small amount of this air dry clay to kind of make that fin that's on top of the claw, giving it the triangular shape. In order to do that, we're going to just take a small bit of the clay and roll it out. If you remember as a kid, the first thing you kind of learn to do with Play-Doh is to roll it and make a worm, and that's basically what we're doing. Once you have that rolled out, you're going to just gently place it on top of one of the claws. Get it to the right length, and take it all the way from the top down to the tip and just break it off. I do recommend only doing 2 claws at a time, simply because the clay itself dries out, and once it's dry it becomes very brittle. It's not actually attached to the claws in any way, so once it's dry and brittle, it falls off, it breaks, and then you start over again, and it's just a mess. Once you have the clay set on top of the nail, you just want to take your fingers and gently move it, making sure that it's as close to the center of that nail as you can get it. And then you're going to use your fingers to, again, gently pinch it up all along the nail into that ridge, fin-like formation, so that it's a little bit thinner at the top than it is at the bottom. Again, just working as quickly and smoothly as you can to get it into the shape that you want. Okay, so you've got your clay on your nails are glued together. You're moving on to the next step, and you're going to use this metallic tape. Now this stuff is basically like heavy duty aluminum foil with adhesive on the back of it. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take this and cut it into small strips to use a little bit of time, layering a little bit like you might some paper mache. Some of you are going to ask, why in the world would you cut it into small strips? Why not just use a piece that's big enough for the nail itself? Well, this is why. I tried that. Here's what happens. You're working with wet clay on a curved surface. If you take a large piece of this heavy-duty aluminum foil with adhesive backing and try to lay it on a curved surface, it's not going to lay straight. So you're going to have a lot of ridges and stuff in the tape itself. Then you're working on top of wet clay, and the more ridges you have and the more you're moving the nail around trying to straighten things out, the more you're going to squish that wet clay. Well, that's not wet, but you understand. it gets squished, and then you don't have a ridge anymore. You have something that looks like a deformed mountain range, and that just doesn't work. So this is why I'm cutting the strips. They don't all have to be the same size. You don't want anything that's probably more than an inch, but use your best judgment. Different sizes work in different spots on the nail, so just cut a bunch of strips. Once you have all of your strips cut, you're going to take those one at a time and start laying them over these claws. I start somewhere in the middle, personally, and put that first strip down, get it laid down really good. Try to, using my fingernail, I am just trying to get the edges to lay down as smoothly as possible. Once you have the front laid down and that ridge formation done fairly well, then you'll lay the edges over into and just wrap it right into the back side of the nail. If you have extra, if it looks like it's going to be too long, just take your scissors and snip off part of the end and make sure that you've got that fully laid into the back of the nail. Now once you have that laid into the nail, go back around the front and just double check and make sure that you haven't squished anything, get the ridge back up, and get ready to put that next strip down. Now I move to the top. Once I've done the middle, I move on up to the top. And you're just going to, again, like I said, like paper mache, you're just going to lay this along right over the edge of the strip that's already on there, smoothing out your strip edges so that they are as smooth as possible, keeping that ridge as clean as you can. And once you have everything on the front smoothed to pretty much the way you want it, you're going to flip it back over again to the back, just like we did before. One of the things I do at the top is I do clip the corners where the nail edge is so that it lays down a little smoother, and then I clipped the edges along the top. Now I'm not throwing away these small clipped pieces because there are times when you accidentally get your fingernail through the edge of that tinfoil like tape, and you need a small piece to cover it up so that your clay doesn't squish out as you're moving along. So they're useful little pieces, but you're going to keep doing the overlap method like the paper mache all the way down to the tip of the nail, getting it smoothed as best you can. And then once you have all the tape on there, go back along all of it, again trying to make sure it's as smooth as possible. Double check your ridge, make sure that it hasn't flattened anywhere, that it's still fairly in the middle of the nail, and just get it as straight as you can. You're going to do this over and over again until you have all of your claws completely put together. Your claws are completed, and now you need to actually put them together in the form of a necklace. Now I'm using paracord because it's inexpensive. It's roughly the type that we need. I don't measure, so what I did was basically lay it around my neck until it was the right length. I cut it, and then I folded it in half to find the middle. Why am I trying to find the middle on that? So again, that I can have that center point, and it's a good place to put your first claw. Now laying the claws is really just taking the bowl shape there at the wider end of the claw itself, putting hot glue in that bowl, and then tucking it underneath the paracord and making sure that the paracord is secured into the hot glue without completely burning the tip of your finger off. So be very careful. The hot glue is, as its name says, it's hot. But you do want to make sure that it's as firmly in that hot glue as possible. Once that has set just roughly, doesn't have to be completely hard, but you want it to be secure. You're going to then take one claw and put it on either side of that center one. I, again, don't measure, so I eyeball it, make sure that it's roughly where it needs to be, and that you have 2 claws or 3 claws in total, and that they are roughly the same distance apart. Once I had them situated where I wanted them, I then went back with my hot glue and went over the top of the paracord just a little bit, just wanting to make sure that the paracord again is secured to the claws themselves. You don't want to be walking around and have one of the claws fall off in the middle of your cosplay. And there you have the beginnings of your Black Panther necklace. So this is your center point. You have your first 3 claws on the cord. From this point forward, you're just going to be going back and forth, side to side, to put the nails, the claws onto the cord. I do recommend going from side to side so that you can keep an even count. And don't forget, once you have the claw initially put on the cord, you'll go back with that hot glue and go over the cord to secure it. Once all of your claws are on the cord, you'll want to go to your end, make sure you tie it off good. I had some extra cord and I didn't want it hanging down, so I took it and wrapped it around itself and then clipped off any remainder and hot glued the tip of that cord into the back of the claw that was closest to my tying point. Again, that was just something that I decided to do. It's not necessarily something you need to do. You may find a much better way to secure that. If you want to make a couple of extra claws, you can always just cover that end back there with another claw. You'll do this for both sides just to make sure, again, that you don't have any bits of cord hanging down that could interfere with your cosplay experience with this necklace. And there you have it. The Black Panther necklace is complete. I did end up making 2 of these necklaces, one adult sized, one child sized. For the child sized version, instead of gluing 2 of those fake nails together, I only used 1 nail, and that seemed to work great. Mine aren't made out of Vibranium, but I think the end result was pretty good, and I think it's going to make a great part of our cosplay experience. Thank you for watching our video of the Black Panther necklace build. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here today. Please support our channel by taking a moment to like and subscribe and leaving any comments in the comment section below. I'm always looking for new ideas for costume builds, so if you have any, please leave those in the comment section and you may see them in a future video.